What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part, I want to say 22 of my Total War Warhammer 3 Elspeth von Draken Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, a very battle-heavy episode saw us fight 5 different battles and end the episode off with us both in range of Bellor right here and Scarbrand all the way down here. So it looks like the battles ain't over for this turn quite yet, and we're liable to have some pretty darn fun ones. Scarby himself is at level 41, has a bunch of chosen as the Knights of the Brazen Throne. Should be a pretty tough fight for these guys. And Helmut Feuerbach or Theodore Bruckner, neither one stands a chance against Scarbrand in his current state. That's going to be a very difficult aspect of this fight, which makes it sound all the more fun. In terms of what we gotta do this time, well, actually, I just said what we gotta do last time, so that's what we're gonna do. In fact, I guess that's the first thing we're gonna do. So, let's level Helmut and the army up, and let's get into it. You, sir, are going to go for speed of horse because it's the only thing that you can really get. It's not like getting another point in any of these things will help you against Scarby. You are able to level towards Guardian and Killing Blow. Let's get you hold the line. We don't have admired cavalrymen yet, or admired man-at-arms. I like how it's an infantryman, but not admired cavalryman. But anyway, Blade Master, and then I guess Hard to Hit might allow you to survive an extra hit against Scarbrand if he misses it, though we'll see. And then we'll get you Foe Seeker as well. Hey, you, sir. You are not into Guardian as yet, so you can do sort of the same thing into Hard to Hit and hold the line, but then hold on to 1 point to get these 3, so Deadly Blade. Or, we get Foe Seeker now. Yeah, let's get the Foe Seeker. It means no holding on to the points, but it's alright. Alright, Bruckner, I'm going to bet have pretty much everything maxed out, which you do, or at the very least the stuff that we really wanted. Let's get you... Missile resistance won't help against Scarby. And his Coronate Army. Let's get you Devastating Charge, I guess. None of that really is all that important. Now, healing. We're definitely going to need it here, and unfortunately, this particular army does not have a high-level Jade Wizard, which is going to be an issue for him. Alright, well, that's all we can do about that. Let's just jump on into it. You, sir. Does being in Channeling Stance do anything for... I don't know, just go into regular stance. Get into Granite Massive. Do we have defenses here? I don't believe we do. I don't believe we do. Alright. We have a Rampager Standard, which I guess we can give to the Royal Altdorf Gryphites, and the Steel Standard. Who needs more speed? Bruckner or Helmut Feuerbach? Once he's on the Griffin, it might be the thing to do, because he'll be traveling a little bit more separately from the rest of the army. That makes sense to me. Alright, and that's about it. Before we get started, while we did not quite reach the engagement threshold, we were quite close, or at least close enough for our purposes. So for now, we'll keep doing the hour long, but if we don't reach it at 250 likes and 40 comments again, perhaps, we'll return to regular length episodes. Otherwise, Scarby's first on the menu, Bellicor's second. Let's begin. Alrighty, here we go. Should be a pretty fun time against Scarby. Let's see what we can do. And I do like this particular map as, well, not necessarily this map, but this type of map, because everything's nice and visible. A and B, we got plenty of space and no real terrain in terms of hills in the center of the map, and for a cavalry army, that's exactly what you want, or at least against most enemies. The problem with Scarbrand in particular is that he has that darn ability of his that causes you to go into rampage when you're fighting him and are close to him in general, which ain't so great for cavalry, which can be pretty darn vulnerable if bogged down and, well, fighting Scarbrand or fighting Minotaurs or fighting Bloodletters. So we're going to try our best to avoid that situation here, thusly. First of all, we are annoying the enemy army as usual with our land ships, just trying to knock a few of those Minotaurs of Khorne out. out, as they do have armor piercing and can do quite a bit of damage. Of course, the bloodletters, or exalted bloodletters at least, have armor piercing as well, to a degree. I mean, it's about even with their regular damage, but enough armor piercing and magical damage certainly to do damage to our cap. Anyway, the plan is thus. Once again, we have separated our Knights of Morr and our Knights of the Black Rose, led by a single one of our Empire captains over on the side. I really wish that he got the same kind of barding and armor that they did, but oh well. It would be nice if you could choose. I mean, the horses they already exist, and the armor already exists in the assets. There's no reason for it to not have the ability to choose. But anyway, ooh, wow, that poor bloodletter. Sucks. Anyway, landships continue to annoy the enemy, but we're going to head into this portion of the enemy because it's far away from Scarbrand, and we're going to move this portion of our army over here as well, hopefully to crush as many of the units here as possible, all the while our landships continue harassing them and firing in pretty much any direction they can. One of the great things about landships, sort of similar to the tactics you use in Battlefleet Gothic, it's very advantageous to have your ships, land ships or Battlefleet Gothic ships, in the middle of an enemy formations, because there they have broadsides and here they kind of have broadsides as well, and the more directions you're firing at, the more damage you're doing, and thus land ships can be one of those particular units where it is important to look out for positioning. Anyway, over on the rightmost flank, the Knights of Morr and the Knights of the Black Rose have arrived. We got to pay attention to the fact that the Knights of Morr are much more fragile, since they lack that Grim Resolve or Iron Resolve or whatever it is, and thus we need to pay attention to their HP and then move them out as they are lances and shock cab, while the Knights of Morr can stay in and fight for a lot longer. Our demigryphs join the fray as well, one of them getting a little bit damaged by a few of the bloodletters surrounding them, but that's hardly surprising. The much bigger problem is Scarby is currently heading towards them. You can see him towering over the troops back there. And as soon as Scarby moves in, unfortunately, that forces these units into Rampage, and, well, all the units around here into Rampage. These guys were trying to escape, but the Rage Incarnate prevents them from doing so. So hopefully the unit survives. We're going to try to move the landships in to bail them out and essentially knock these bloodletters aside. That said, the sacrifice of those brave demigryph inner circle knights has allowed us to completely obliterate the rightmost flank. With the Knights of the Black Rose, they may play somewhat second fiddle to the demigryphs in terms of stats and their position, but they play second fiddle to no one in terms of looks. Damn, you gotta love these units. Anyway, with the right flank destroyed, they're going to move around and start surrounding the enemy where Scarbrand is currently fighting. We've also sent Mr. Bruckner and our Lord and one of the Empire captains all to try to focus Scarby down at the same time. And the Scarbrand had a potion of healing? Well, damn, I didn't even realize that. That's unfortunate. Bruckner, you have your work cut out for you, sir, though fortunately you do have plenty of support, and I'm sure Scarby is enjoying getting to fight the best of the knights, as they have their demigryphs, plus a Reaper, Bruckner, our Lord, and a General. This seems like it's right up Scarbrand's alley. The rest of his troops are being attacked by our landships sort of within the formation. We're just trying to annoy them, as well as drop mines periodically, while we hold Scarbrand back. Of course, there's a limited time that we can do this before once again Rage Incarnate activates, and it looks like Scarbrand will call for reinforcements with some bloodletters moving in and trapping our units with him. That's pretty good. Wasn't expecting that from the AI, but it was a solid move. Landships still tower over the enemy and then drop in those mines, and here come the Knights of the Black Rose and the Knights of Morr alike to smash into the enemy from various sides, surrounding them as best we can. And Scarby has finally begun to melt. Actually, I'm surprised that he's unstable, having about 30% HP remaining, but considering he's reached his healing cap, it looks like between the regen and the healing potion, he certainly got there. But he's taking quite the effort to bring down. But that's as it should be. All right, a couple more hits, and Scarby, you gonna fall, buddy? Oh, he's shaken. He recovered or rallied a little bit, but while Scarby may have rallied, the rest of his troops got completely surrounded by our cavalry. The Chosen have nowhere to go and blobbed up by force by the cavalry. We essentially made a really nice spot for our ships to drop their mines. It's actually a fairly decent strategy, it seems, against piles of enemy infantry, where you can use the mass of your cavalry essentially to corral them into a big blob and thereby get a lot of work out of the land ships to mines. Pretty nice. Oh, I'm gonna check if the mines on the Amethyst land ships are of any kind of different variety or they're the same. Considering everything the Amethyst land ships do, I wonder if they're of the magical damage variety. Well, either way, not super important, and we don't technically need to chase the enemy down, but we want to take the extra few seconds to heal our single entities. Helmut has reached his own healing cap by the looks of it, and Bruckner, I believe... okay. Well, he got pretty badly beat up fighting Scarby as well, and we had to heal him and everybody around him multiple times. A close victory for us, and a glorious fight. Alrighty, a very nice fight. We struggled against Scarbrand himself a little bit, and his first charge into one of our demigriffs that did heavy damage to him, knocking out a good 20 of their number. Gotta watch out for his rampage-causing ability that causes your own troops to go into rampage and thus stay forced in a fight where they don't necessarily want to be. But at the end of the day, we did carry the day, and it went quite well. Lots of damage on our two landships, and I think this is one of the best armies to replace them with Amethyst landships, because we don't have magical damage on... I think anything in here, and you need magical damage, and we will be facing off against Kairos with this army most likely, or Kugath, or wherever it is we decide to send it to. So yeah, we'll probably want to make use of it. Anyway, we are going to occupy the place. We could loot and occupy. We're not keeping the place. Then again, you know what, just regular occupied. Don't know who we're trading it to, but it might be worth a bit.
I will marshal the men.
Better not to loot it. Hey, Helmut at least got his Imperial Griffin as a reward for that. Imperial Pegasus, Barded Warhorse. We certainly needed the horse for the Jade Wizard there as well, and he leveled up quite a bit, so that's great. Earthblood, Evasion, and then into Regrowth, which is definitely needed in this army, and then everybody else can level afterwards. Now the ships, it always hurts to lose a very high veterancy unit like this, but I think, just double checking again, yeah, we have no magical damage on anything here except Bruckner, so yeah, massive physical resistance from demons is going to be a problem for this army, and the Amethyst landships could certainly help bypass that. Let us... you know what? I would like to see how far we can go into the upgrades here. We have 23k. I would like to complete the upgrades, at least for these guys. Don't really care about the Amethyst Hellstorm because we can't really use them due to the desyncs, but, so... Cremation engine, that's what we would want to get to. Upgrade, 3,000 for the next one? Damn. 4.2 thousand? Yeah, it's like the game doesn't... did they design this so that you wouldn't want to upgrade everything? Maybe that's the case. At the very least, it's quite difficult to get a decent amount of these units as you don't get enough schematics because of it. I feel like 5th tier gunsmiths, whatever they're called, foundries, no, foundries 4th or 5th tier, engineers guild hall, this thing should provide you some sort of income of schematics. It doesn't have to be a crazy amount, like 10, 20, something like that, but when you get a really big empire and you want lots of armies, so that you can actually get a few of those extra amethyst units in there, or otherwise keep it the same but reduce the cost of the upgrades or something like that, as opposed to the or keep the cost of the upgrades the same and reduce the cost of the actual units themselves. I don't know. Either way, I think they need a little bit of an adjustment. Like the Age of Reckoning thing clearly need an adjustment as well. 3.2k for this. Yeah, I think I'd rather get a couple of the land ships rather than... I also really wanted that extra missile explosion radius on the Amethyst Outriders here. There's a lot of fun upgrades. The thing about the units is that the earlier we get them, the earlier that they can start leveling, you know what I mean? Yeah, fine. Purchase and purchase. Ugh, they're so expensive, my lord. Alrighty, but once again, we do need some kind of magical damage in here, so gotta do what you gotta do. Amethyst land ships, so you will replace the regular land ships you have served well, and we'll call it a retrofit, an upgrade. These land ships aren't actually being deleted, they are being upgraded by the Amethyst Order instead. Now, you. There we go. They started a lower rank, perhaps, but the magical damage will help us out. No cremation engine as yet, although I really want to see if that has an effect, like a on-map effect. How much would it cost to upgrade it? We can't afford it, but that's basically all of our schematics, but I would like to max out the upgrades of everything except the Amethyst Hellstorm, so and we should be there reasonably soon. Since Elspeth is alone in Catha and her army is pretty much gunnery, she should be racking up quite a bit of schematics while she's over there. And maybe we'll want to build a couple more sort of gunnery auto-resolve armies just to get additional free sort of schematics from their fights. Anyway, let's see who, if anybody else, needs to move this particular turn and then head back on into the fight. You. I guess you're the only one. Alright, well that means we're hitting Bellor right now.
Battle preparations, troops.
Away we go. What does he have here? Well, frankly, his army has nothing to write home about, to be fair. But it is Bellor's last fight, and we did come looking for him, and it took a little bit of effort, so I think we'll fight it nonetheless. Go.
Lady Verena has granted me the wisdom to craft the finest instruments of war.
Alright, well, while our master engineer is busy crafting the finest instruments of war, we're crafting the enemy's defeat with the Amethyst Outriders. I'll let them talk while these guys do the work. Very good. And they've already destroyed the 2 units of doggos out here. Of course, the doggos were never going to be any kind of threat, basic tier 1 Chaos Warhounds as they are, but they were the only thing fast enough to catch the Amethyst Outriders, who are going to continue dropping grenades into Marauder and Chaos Warrior alike, and very, very effectively, I might add. First of the enemy Marauders melts away, and we can just keep advancing towards Bellor's army, all the while raining mortars from our sniping, hidden mortar war wagons, slowing them down in combination dazed and disoriented, which is a pretty solid combo, and reducing the enemy speed down to 18, all the while we continue firing. And speaking of firing, it looks like the enemy has at last moved into range, and cannon fire is going to start hitting Bellor, and not just cannon fire, as we are going to have Ulrika and go after him and start hurting him as well. She is a little bit busy with some of these Chaos Chariots, but, you know, they'll be dead very quickly at this rate. And it looks like Bellor will actually peel away and go after Ulrika himself, which works for us. A little bit of shadow on shadow action, as they both do Lore of Shadows. Feels appropriate to me. Anyway, let's see what's going on over on the rightmost flank. Looks like the enemies have moved in with a bunch of doggos, ones that won't be destroyed by our units of Amethyst Outriders, but that's alright, we can catch these with the Knights of the Black Rose. These Swords of Midnight charging in together with the Scythes of Morr, while the Callista's Honor Guard move in to hit the Marauder Horsemen of Khorne, and the other unit, the Ebony Thorns, unfortunately a little bit busy defending the right flank from, well, no attacks at the current time, but it does allow the enemy units of Warhounds to hit the Black Steel Company Ironsides. That said, they have no armor piercing, and they're having a difficult time knocking out even a single one of the Ironsides, and it looks like they will rout before Gotrek and Felix even move to intercept. At this point, the cannons have switched targets to other things because I believe they're actually out of range, but Bellor is just chasing Ulrika around, and she just keeps taking shots and using Melkot's mystifying miasma on him at the same time, while he slowly loses his HP. Just gonna be able to kite him forever at this rate, especially as he's too slow to catch her. It's nice, especially considering that Gotrek and Felix have by and large been taking the lion's share of the enemy lord kills. Ulrika wants to participate as well. Granted, her spell work has been pretty helpful in certain battles as well. But I'm sure she wants to defeat some lords, and this is the last time we'll be seeing Be'lakor as well. Anyway, the Outriders, uncaught by any warhounds or anything quick, continue making mincemeat out of those poor marauders. The bounce power shifts to about 95% in our favor, and only Be'lakor and a unit of trolls pretty much remain. There's a Chaos Sorcerer out here as well. Or there were actually two, and they were periodically dropping Searing Dooms and down on our Outriders, but by and large we're missing. And Be'lakor once again slowed down by that Melkoth's, and continues taking shots from Ulrika, and he just can't do anything anymore. It looks like his army is shattered, and he's just floating there and melting away. I mean, range heroes like Ulrika or Wolfheart really don't do that much damage, let's face it. She's done 5.4k damage and has been firing for basically 3.5 minutes straight, which really ain't that much. And you gotta remember that this amount of damage is combined range damage and the Melkoth's kits to Be'lakor, who doesn't have spell resistance, surprisingly. So yeah, the range damage a little bit lackluster, but the point wasn't to do the damage, the point was rather to annoy the enemy and kite him around, preventing him from A, getting close to our lines and damaging us, and B, actually preventing him from getting close to dropping any spells on our main line, as well as his Penumbral Pendulum or Pit of Shades or whatever could have certainly been dangerous to us. So Ulrika did a fantastic job, and so did the rest of the army. Be'lakor is done. Well, there we go. Poor Be'lakor humiliated yet again, and he really couldn't do anything at all there. We are going to, let's say, heal up. I mean, we're going to suffer attrition here over the next turn, and then we'll need to attack, presumably, the turn after that. On the other hand, we took so little damage it is probably not super relevant. Pardon the captives. We still need cash after all. We'll never not need cash, most likely. You can get back to channeling and then stay right here to attack the Palace of Ruin next turn. And we killed in battle another potion of speed, and there we go, that Bell of the Ball upgrade that we wanted, or defeat trait that we wanted. Weapon strength +5, wins a magic power reserve capacity +5, and casualty replenishment +5. A fantastic defeat traits and one of the better ones in the game. Another smuggler, a ferryman, another tradesman that we gotta give to somebody. Who does not have a tradesman? You do. And tradesmen must go to lords. You do not. Alright. What can we lose from you? Casualties, outrider. Okay, I'll lose the ferryman. It's only 5% campaign line of sight. It's not a big enough deal. And tradesman. Like so. Alright, lovely. How's that trade income looking? Pretty good. 33.5k. Could use a little bit more, but we're working on it. Anyway, with that, I believe we're good to go to end the turn. There's probably a few buildings to build, but we could also build them next turn. Materials at sea is up in 4, though, eh? Wait. I might still want to spend a tiny bit of extra cash, and the tiny bit of extra cash would have to be getting it up to the tier previous to the final tier for any building. If that makes any sense. As in, for example, okay, no, you're a bad example. Anything, okay, you're tier 2, you're tier 2. Did I already do this? Okay, so here we go. If we upgrade this now, the Wizard's Campus, then we'd still have 1 turn remaining to upgrade it to tier 5 before the, before Materials at Sea runs out, which is why I wanted to do that. It's not a critical upgrade by any means, but we're trying to do away with the admin aspect altogether here, in the sense that we are nearly done with the admin. Nearly done with the admin, and thus we want to set it up so that we will be done with it. If not quite entirely done, at least close enough. Don't collect the income here at Cowark. Anyway, that looks good to me. Skip here and on moon, building upgrade available, damage building, and then turn.
You are
And Scarby, you want peace now, dude. Hey, Kairos is near you. Well, that's good. Decline. Oh, damn. Kairos went up all the way to near Nehekara, and by the looks of it, took some territories from the lizards as well. He did surprisingly well. Not doing as well anymore, mind you, but did surprisingly well. I think effectively once we cleared the Badlands, upkeep production for artillery and missile strength, once we cleared the Badlands out completely, what happened was the dwarfs crushed clan Morrs, and without any presence of enemies from the Badlands, it meant Khemri didn't have to defend anything essentially from this side, neither from Scarbrand, from orcs, from the Skaven, etc., etc. This allowed him to move southward and take all the provinces that had been destroyed by Kairos, because Kairos had all gone all the way to the Great Desert of Araby. He had all of this. He was really encroaching up here, but I guess he got crushed between the Ghosts of Pahwaks and Khemri, once Khemri was able to turn around. There's still probably some provinces belonging to him here in lizard territories, and lizard take Corsetra, Should we attack the lizards? They don't hate us, but neither do they like us. And now I do notice that Scarby is still alive. No, he's not. He has no settlements. He has this little lord running around. I guess he should be dead next turn. Alright, so Helmet. The question I have for you is, do we attack the lizards? I'm a little bit worried about keeping Kairos on the map. So it would be good to completely knock him out. I don't know how that relates to lizards, other than the fact that it bothers me that these guys have Resetra. Or we could let them deal with it themselves. We've much bigger problems with our closer allies, all of this territory. So because of the Darklands and the Mountains of Morn are infested by our enemies, Kugath, Goldtooth, Legion of Asgore, Greenskins, or Grimgor Zard Boys, all occupy a massive pile of territory, without even considering the Chaos Dwarfs and Village up here. And both Cathay and the regular dwarfs are our major allies here, and we're trying to help them survive. Meaning, we may be better off sending Helmet out here to sail out and land either at the Legion of Asgore territory or in the Dragon Isles, which are a big cash cow territory as well. Lots of gemstones out of Dragonfang Mount, for example. And knock out Kugath and then try to help with crushing Goldtooth afterwards. I did say we wanted more armies in the Darklands, and it is very much looking like we will need them. Oh, Grimgor, you little... He took the Great Skull Lakes. I was hoping that you would take them. Useless. Alright, well, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it, we'll figure it out. Let's get a move on with everything else first. So Elspeth, you cannot reach Shilong, but I guess we'll take the Bridge of Heaven. Oh, actually, you can reach Shilong. But we probably should still take the Bridge of Heaven nonetheless. And then move on to Shilong after. I mean, all of this will be auto-resolve, so it's going to hurt our land ships again. What do we have in terms of defenses here? Not much. Let's just hope that the land ships don't get screwed. Okay, auto-resolve, you better not screw us on this. In fact, I'm curious. You are at 7.4k and you're at 11k HP. Yeah, yes, and what? It killed a bunch of our Hellblasters against this nonsense. What happened? Did the recent patch introduce some kind of extra instability with the auto-resolve? It wasn't doing this before. I don't really care so much about the Hellblaster volley guns because I was intending to replace them because we don't necessarily need them in this army, but what the heck happened here? Weird. The Hellblaster, okay, I get why landships might be hurt because they move fast, but the thing is, okay, let's just occupy the place first. The thing is, the Outriders move faster than the landships, considerably so, and they have shorter range, so in theory the auto-resolve should be killing the Outriders, shouldn't it? And even then, why does it hurt the Hellblasters so much, completely ignoring the Hell Cannons and the Hellblast, or in the Hellstorms? The heck is going on with this auto-resolve? And then completely ignoring the other elements of the range line. It's very strange. Go figure. Alright, well, I guess we'll need to fight the next little fight manually. It's part of the Total War experience, people. You always gotta get screwed by auto-resolve in some manner. Otherwise, it just feels wrong. Palace of Ruin, you are worth 17k to sack. Oh my. That's quite nice, actually. Okay, wait. I take it this was Bellacor's last army?
Grand inventor.
Palace of Ruin. What do we have here? We we have some troops, but they're mostly basic. I mean, there's a few of the more elite ones, but it's primarily Marauders and Chaos Warriors down here. I think we can risk auto-resolving and just hope that these guys don't all get exploded. Don't screw me on this game. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
This is it, man.
Okay, so this one is fine. None of these guys got hurt. I don't know how to resolve. I just don't know. We're gonna sack it. Most definitely, and then we'll occupy it, leaving Bellor with only the one territory. Most likely, that guy will return, but I'm not sure that he can actually reach us here. In which case, we are still allowed to heal up without him doing anything, which is lovely. You should also have Mentor maxed out. And before I forget, Elspeth, you've reached level 50, have you not? And I gave you Mentor. Ooh, but this guy, Mentor. And, okay, Mentor. Gotta get Mentor up on everybody. Alright, you're looking good. Who's up next? Let's do this in order. Zintler, Land Admiral variety of Zintler. I guess you can head down to the Black Pillar. We still haven't sent anybody to Nagrar, but I guess we can move out of the Black Light Tower and hit it. In theory. Malekith's still floating around. I kind of don't want to send Land Admiral Zintler all the way back, so... Black Pillar first. Ask questions later. To resolve... Okay, pay attention to the war wagons. Let's see what this does. Alright, so it killed half of the war wagons of the gunnular variety, but none of the mortular variety. Okay. Okay, occupy the place. And speed of Lyco's good, enemy killed in battle, and we're okay. Don't bother upgrading all of this, it's gonna be traded to somebody, still most likely Boris. Oh, that reminds me. We had a sort of setup here that...
Master engineer.
I didn't move, and neither did our Kislevite allies. Huh. Go figure. That's interesting. I was hoping Tamarkan or one of these guys would move forward. They're probably recruiting. But we can't kill both of those armies at the same time with this army. The slowdown army isn't going to be particularly good against multiple armies at once. Because there's only so many units you can slow down at the same time, and if the enemy has more than twice as many units on the field as you do, that's obviously a problem. And certainly we don't have any way to clear them out easily, as we don't have Hellstorms. I guess you're just gonna sit here for a little bit. Were you holding onto your points for some reason? Maybe you were, but get Templar. Yeah, I guess just sit around and wait. If Boris moves, then great. If these guys moves... Oh, you know what I should have done at the end turn? I should have checked who moves first, because that would have informed us some. And we can't do the ambush stance, I assume, because of Boris's presence? Wait, do allies prevent you from ambushing, or is it Gripmore 3-Horn that's doing this to us? Huh. Well, that's a shame. But what can you do? Stay there, see what happens. Alright. And if we can't move right now, we can move. Andreas Meyer, you've got a lot of islands to pick up before you head to the Cult of Pleasures territory. Auto-resolve this garbage. And grab free schematics. Love it. Another island down there. That's a little bit far away, but that's fine. Leadership and a little bit of money. I don't know why I said leadership. Don't bother with the gold sigil sword. We'll hopefully turn it into something that is somewhat useful. Next, you are able to reach this shipwreck. I can't remember, our shipwrecks... Wait, let's find out. I mean, it's on the way. I really hope we can find a Skull Island with this army, and... no, shipwrecks have to be manually picked up. Alright, fine. Oh, I guess we're gonna suffer a turn of attrition, but that's fine. Hopefully there's a Skull Island nearby somewhere, because that'll actually be worth fighting for this actual little army. Deconstructor Zintler, you're gonna briefly occupy Black Light Tower. I don't know why I said briefly. Quickly. Easily. Auto-resolve. And occupy it like so, which will allow us to, perfect vigor and campaign movement range, lovely. Destroy current car and then complete this province for our Everescent allies. Funnily enough, we actually would like to keep layers of Clark-Haran for ourselves. Upkeep reduction minus 25% for Demigriff units is pretty darn significant. I'm surprised by how solid that is. I'd love even more reduction for I'd love some reduction for tanks or something. Too bad the no Chaos Dwarf stuff or anything like that gives us that. But anyway, maybe we wouldn't want to use their corrupted technologies. Helmut. Is it safe to ignore Kairos? I'm going to hope that it is. Do these guys hate each other again? I don't know, they don't really care about each other, do they? I'm just wondering whether there might be some advantage to knocking out this little Kairos faction before heading up north. He's still here, after all. And we probably shouldn't leave him around to cast his annoying spells. This does mean trespassing, of course, but, well, what can you do? Go trespass. Like so. And lizards won't appreciate it, but what can you do? Maybe I should have just attacked the lizards here. You guys let me know what you think about that. On the one hand, we wanted their alliances, but it doesn't look like we're gonna be too friendly with the lizards. By the looks of it, the Hexoada lizards have been fighting Wolfheart, and I'm willing to bet Itza's probably in the same boat, unless they were wiped out by the Skaven or something else down there. I guess we'll find out when we get to it. Anyway, let's continue for now. Boris von Sighofen. You, sir. Ooh, hello. An army. Another fight for the Flagellants? Yes, please. Oh, excitement, he wrote. Let's see. You are going to go for... I forget what I was doing with you. Oh, right. Speed of horse for the Knights of the Everlasting Light. The honest steel point was just a waste of a point that we got from when we confederated you. Really got to get to that righteous fury for additional strength for the Flagellants. And, oh, wait. Stand your ground. None of these guys are unfortunately rank 7 as yet, and thus, and that includes the Knights? Yeah, that includes the Knights. Thus we wouldn't get too much value out of any of that, so get Speed of Horse again. It's really just such a minor upgrade, whatever. And we can still upgrade them. Yeah, it would be nice for them to get more defensive buffs. Anyway, Amber Wizard. Gold Wizard and Amber Wizard. Ooh, you know what? Both of you save your points. Save your points because we really need Tempered Aura for that additional 15 armor. I just thought of something. Wait a moment. Wait a moment. Where's the Light Wizard? Who has a Light Wizard? Light Wizard, come here. No, not you. Shining Resilience gives you the Aura of Protection, the same aura that is present on Luminarchs. However, we have an upgrade to upgrade Aura of Protection specifically on Luminarchs, meaning this is a different aura, meaning if you have a Light Wizard and a Luminarch together, anybody near them gets a 30% ward save. That sounds crazy to me. But if that's the case, that would be very much worthwhile. 30% ward save. Tanks automatically get 15% ward save by virtue of the buffs that they get at rank 7. Or where is it even rank 7? No, Mighty Forge. They just straight up get 15% ward save. So tanks surrounding a Luminarch and a Light Wizard would have 45 ward save, ignoring everything else. That would be pretty nuts. We need to test this. We need to put in a Luminarch and a Light Wizard in an army. We'll try it in our new army. If that's the case, this is very, very good. Imagine a pile of tanks with 45 ward save and an Earth Wizard healing them. That would just be insane to deal with. Anyway, you two hold on to your points. You as well, you want that Great Hawk Kettle's Call summoning ability. But the rest of you can do stuff. Sparring practice, and I guess you'll get Guardian later. And you get sparring practice as well. Just a little bit of a buff for you. Nothing much. But it's Guardian that we want. Because we have a lot of heroes in here, and they should be guarding all the heroes and each other. Wild-Eyed is up next for you, sir. Yeah, it's not like we really need Conviction or Soothsaying, because most of this army doesn't benefit from the additional leadership auras. Anyway, and that looks good to me. We're heading to the Sentinels, though we do want to make sure that there isn't a big old full stack full of, like, Dreadquakes and crazy nonsense nearby. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but we can't see it. Because we have no vision of the Black Fortress. Well, that's unfortunate. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Confederation was over this turn, right? Yes, it is. Alright, oh no, it was over last turn, but I didn't check this turn. Golden Order. Oh, Middenland. This is so like you, Boris. I just... Damn you, Toddbringer. He's really holding out hope. He really wants to be the Emperor. But anyway, Golden Order, you are now ours. Ooh. I was going to introduce him at men. What are we at here, by the way? 35.6k. Oh, man. All the extra armies this will bring. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just... Wait. I want to see what's going on here before we confederate them. Balthy, you have an kind of a not good army, but probably good enough. Oh, actually, we could try the Luminarch thing with you. You have the second orb of sorcery trait, which buffs Luminarchs and tanks. Oh, we could try that whole idea with you then. Alright, fine, yeah, we're getting them. I have an idea, and now I need to test it. Diplomacy, Confed, Golden Order, do it. Alright, so we were at plus 36k, we are now at 23k. I mean, that's still a massive loss, but it's not horrible. Alright, also, before I forget, missions. We are maxed out with the Masters of Innovation, but their outpost, okay, their outpost just finished upgrading, and Krasgrax is good. We need your ally missions, and we will take Mr. Cormac Torturous. There we go. Masters of Innovation. Sure. Pick one, and we'll have to figure out if we want anything from them. You know what? Gelt seems like a man who could appreciate a good Thunder Barge. And... oh, you have the Hellstorm buffs. Oh, right, I was thinking of the SFO upgrades, wasn't I? He doesn't have the second Orb of Sorcery in this. Meaning, what does he actually buff? He gives armor to his army, which is fine. Chance of Plague, Casualty or Punishment rate. He uses Hellstorm rocket buffs, immunity to psychology. Honestly, he doesn't actually buff any specific units other than missile or melee infantry, depending on which you choose. And the rest of this is fine. Leader of Renown is a bit of a waste, but if we end up going through to Quartermaster or something, it's not horrible. It's looking like we won't necessarily have to reset him. His picks aren't the worst. They're not great, but they're not the worst. He has all of his items as well. He has 5 legendary items? Good lord. Does Archaon have 4? Grumbrindle has 4. I don't remember how many Archaon he has. Wait. I mean, in theory, Archaon should have the 6 Treasures of Chaos. Dorgar counts as 1, but I don't remember if he's missing one. No, he is missing one, because the brand, Archaon's brand, his Mark of Chaos, he has a special Mark of Chaos, which counts as 1, but it isn't represented as an item or an ancillary, which means, counting Dorgar and counting his Mark of Chaos, he would have 4, not 5. I think. And if I'm wrong, I'm an idiot. Alrighty, well anyway, you're good, sir, you're good. You can keep all this, and we'll deal with some of your items later. Actually, no, we have to deal with some of them now. Light College Acolyte is useless. Controlled Bailiff is useless. Burger is useless. Noble is useless. Brave Robber, useless. Useless for you, at least. Alright, then ancillaries. We need the ones... we need Valet. We need... not Tollkeeper. Something that lets you travel quickly. Scribe. And I don't remember if we have any additional servants or whatever they're called. Messengers. Yes, we do. Yes, good. Messenger. Kizilite Kossar. Why not? We'll give it to you, Gelt. You get even more movement on you. And we'll try to figure out what we can do with your army. I might still do the idea that I had with him, even if he doesn't buff them, but we'll... When's a Apprentice Wizard? We could technically put that on a follower of yours. You can have a Banner of Eternal Flame, why not? We have extras. And we'll figure out what other banners we can do with you later. This is 10% weapon strength and 10% missile strength. Honestly, it's not that much. It's probably not enough to be considering. He could have some Amethyst Iron Sides, and then we'll figure out what else we want to put in there. Anyway, Gelt, you cannot reach Greasy here, unfortunately, meaning you're going to sit in his Great Hall, and you're going to laugh. We do have a gold mine here as well, which is probably worth keeping. I mean, it's a yellow territory, and we don't really need the additional territory, but, hold on to it for now. You, sir. I feel like you should be deleted, but we are at war with everybody around here, and... man, you know what? I think we need to send Helmet down there. I mean, we might not be able to hold unless we do so. Let's send you here. We're going to combine these 2 armies into one. Put in Shambletown, and then we'll delete one of them. I probably should have tried to recruit stuff here instead of moving you, but that's alright.
What does the Emperor bid?
Yeah, just combine those into a temporary army until we're good. Now, Temple of Elemental Winds, you have a unique setting that gives Master of Elemental Winds for battle wizards for all armies, but you did not build it because the AI is an idiot. Get rid of the Temple of Sigmar, I guess. Probably want to hold on to the barracks, unless there's... Well, I guess technically there was a barracks up there. But I do like the ability to recruit pretty much everything in this particular location. It's not like we really need the warrior priests here. You know, just get a warrior priest just in case here. I should have built you there, but it's alright. And then we may use them, possibly. The possibility exists, let's say. Anyway, that's guilt. I don't think we care so much about anything we do with his units or his territories right now, though frankly, we'll probably want to build defenses in a few locations. Most likely he'll be on the back foot very shortly. But for now, you, sir, you've had a battle to fight, and a battle you shall fight. Valiant defeat. It looks like the game really doesn't like flagellants. Let's show them the error of their ways. Alrighty, here we go. The Flagellants have yet another battle before them, and I am a little bit concerned, let's say. The concern here is this. We are close enough to the enemy's capital, which does have that DREADQUAKE building, which means they can drop a DREADQUAKE barrage down upon us. And any infantry, as we well know, will get absolutely decimated, destroyed by the DREADQUAKEs. Which means, at any moment, we could lose a significant portion of our army, and it's dangerous to even move them in relatively tight formation like this, but while moving close to the enemy, I'm paying very, very close attention to the blob, in the hopes of essentially splitting it off and away from the DREADQUAKE. Unfortunately, I was watching the infantry so much that the enemy decided to instead drop the DREADQUAKE on our Knights of the Everlasting Light. Oh, I was really not expecting that because, I mean, it's not going to damage them nearly as much as it would the piles of flagellants, but it'll still take about half HP off these guys, so good job to the AI. I think that the reason that this happened was because these units were stopped while these guys were moving, and it looks like the AI might be able to prioritize units that are not moving instead. Good to know for the future. Anyway, the rest of our army needs to rush forward before the enemy is able to drop another DREADQUAKE. I believe they have at least one more available, possibly two. I didn't check the number that they had, which is a big problem. It's gotta be more than one. And, well, that may be a problem for us. But for now, we gotta send in our knights. Also, once again, I noticed that the Knights of the Everlasting Light color scheme, blue and yellow, works really well with the Swords of Ulrich and the Nordland Mariners. I'm just trying to think of what exactly an army belonging to Boris Todbringer would look like. Anyway, the knights are there, but they're only there temporarily. They're actually going to run past everybody and try to go after the dwarf blunderbusses and the fireglaives. The Zotes and flagellants move in and start dishing out the damage, and we certainly need the armor piercing of the Zotes here, as we lack it elsewhere. And it looks like we get hit with something big. I'm not sure what the heck struck us, but it certainly did damage. Probably a spell from one of these guys, but that is merely the beginning of the damage that we're going to take our main line, as a Searing Doom and the DREADQUAKE mortars will drop down, both on us and on the enemy as well. So they sacrifice a unit of hobgoblins and, by the looks of it, damage a unit of Chaos Dwarf Warriors, but because of that, the DREADQUAKE completely wipes out the Tattersouls, or at the very least damage them so heavily they can no longer fight, and then the same thing goes for one of these units of flagellants. We're trying to heal them up with the Zotes healing abilities, but that's, well, it's not gonna overwrite the DREADQUAKE. Anyway, out here we have flagellants facing off against some gobos. We're trying to fire back with our own spells as a Searing Doom and drops upon the piles of enemies, though the mages in this particular army, especially with the relatively limited amount of mana that they have, are sort of here to buff the flagellants, generally speaking, rather than drop spells upon the enemy. So every time we have to apply damage in that manner is a time we can't cast Glittering Robe or Pan's Impenetrable Pelt or Vissen's Wild Form upon our own units, which is obviously dangerous when they are in combat against superior troops. Alrighty, fortunately the Hobgobs are not going to stand too much of a chance against the Flagellants. The ones that didn't get the Dreadquake or the spells dropped upon them are completely fine. I mean, look at these guys. They've taken basically no damage whatsoever and have 123 kills to their name. And that with them being outside of at least one of the War Drum's buffs. Though I think at this point we separate the two War Drums and make sure that they offer the armor buff to both sides of the map. Anyway, the battle continues. Knights of the Everlasting Light are spread out as well as needed, especially since that Blinding Light or whatever the ability they have is called offers a -8 melee attack to the enemy, and we certainly need that. Enemy continues firing rockets upon us and continuing to do damage. Looks like they hit the Zoats this time, and that's a little bit unfortunate for us, as we still need them to work on destroying the enemy Infernal Guard. The Flagellants are certainly not going to be capable of doing so, and it's one of the reasons the Zoats are here. And we also need them to protect our War Drums, because we certainly need their buffs to remain up constantly. Flagellants have at least overrun most of the enemy Hobgob positions, and while the Infernal Guard and Chaos Dwarf Warriors are still standing strong, the Hobgobs are primarily being whittled down, both by us and by friendly fire from the enemy. It was very appropriately willing to sacrifice them. Alright, we got some Infernal Guard with great weapons and Chaos Dwarf Warriors working together against the Zoats, which does put them in a little bit of a dangerous position, but we do have a Warrior Priest helping them out, adding both buffs and debuffs, as well as his, well, passively, as well as his active abilities. And though it looks like at least a couple of the Zoats have been dropping here. I mean, that's a lot of, ooh, yeah, lots of Zoats are dropping here. Gotta be careful of that. Damn, these guys are pretty badly beat up. Infernal Guard with great weapons. Doing a great job. Alright, well, those guys are going to need to heal and maybe even back up, but the battle yet continues. In fact, 5 minutes in, and the balance of power is only about 60% in our favor. This flank is also having a very tough time, at least in part due to this darn Skullcracker. Both of our Empire captains have been chasing it around and attacking it since the start of the battle. I mean, they basically went after it as soon as we moved over here, and it's basically unhurt. Like, look at this thing. It's taking, like, no damage. Frickin' hit it. Kill it. What are you doing? Perhaps I should have used the Zoats for this particular purpose rather than the Empire Captains, but I figured, hey, they might be able to help us out with that. But, well, I guess I was wrong at least in that regard. Anyway, an enemy Demon Smith Sorcerer touches down, attempts to go after the Archlector here, but with Zoats and Knights of the Everlasting Light helping out, they should be fine. The enemy Lord is still firing his pistol down from above. And we have no, we have no anti-air whatsoever in this army either, which may be a problem in the future. In theory. On the other hand, he will touch down eventually as long as we leave him up there. I guess as long as we don't send this army to fight like Kairos or something like that, we should be okay. That was probably a better thing that we didn't. Anyway, the Skullcracker is still being focused by both the Empire Captains, still only losing about, what, 15% of its HP? Damn that Skullcracker. Yeah, I really regret not sending one of the units of Zoats after it, but who else was going to fight the Infernal Guard? I suppose there are some Infernal Guard here, but they were taking on both Flagellants and Knights of the Everlasting Light together. Speaking of Knights of the Everlasting Light, looks like the Demon Smith Sorcerer is just about done here and will be brought down by the combination of Knights and Zoats. The battle looks to be pretty much in our favor now at about 80%, maybe 75%. With our hurt Flagellant units, with their unbreakability, still able to chase down foes and prevent them from rallying. This is particularly useful in this battle, as the enemy has lots of fast-moving Hobgobs, and if we weren't able to use our badly damaged Flagellants to chase them down, the Hobgobs would surely have rallied. And these damn Infernal Guard basically fought to the second last Chaos Dwarf. As in, they didn't rout until only one of them was remaining. Pretty darn impressive. I feel like ours would have routed with like 40 remaining. As in, if the player was using the same kind of unit. Anyway, Zoats and Flagellants continue to fight over in the leftmost flank, and what a fantastic battle, incidentally. Really could have used not being hit by those DREADQUAKEs, but yeah. I can see why the auto-resolve was saying valiant defeat, but it's giving us a heck of a fight, and I can very much appreciate that. What I can't appreciate is this damn Skullcracker. Would you please die? It's only at half HP, about 8 minutes of being attacked straight. I don't know what the heck those Empire captains are doing, but whatever it is, it's not good enough. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that they provide a +3 melee attack and defense to the Flagellants, I probably wouldn't put them in it. Honestly, based on this performance, I'm sorely tempted to delete one of them and replace him with the Luminarch that we want in this army for additional defensive capability. That armor aura, or a ward save aura, which I'm sure would help all of the units here a lot more than the Empire Captain, and would be able to snipe things like this darn Sorcerer Prophet out of the sky. Anyway, that all doesn't matter as the Skullcracker finally goes down as we send basically every single unit that we have, all of our hero piles, both mages, all 3 warrior priests and heart selectors, and Zoats, and drums. Everything was going after that darn Skullcracker at the end, and it was really the only target left anyways, as the Sorcerer Prophet was unreachable, and all the other units were being chased down by our badly damaged Flagellants. A Pyrrhic victory, but very well earned. Alrighty, there we go. A very fun fight, though it is annoying dealing with the Chaos Dwarves sometimes with those DREADQUAKE barrages that they've got, in addition to their willingness to drop them on their own units, in addition to ours. Yeah, it kind of checks out with regards to them dropping them on goblins and probably even themselves. But it might not be something the player would normally do, because, well, the player would care about having to rebuild all their stuff, and the AI doesn't really, it just wants to annoy you. At the end of the day, though, we did fairly well. I'm kind of curious as to the damage here. The Zoats racked up a very solid damage and kill count, outdoing pretty much everything. The Flagellants, of course, ripped through the enemy lines of hobgobs, though several of them had to be removed from the battle effectively, essentially at the start due to those DREADQUAKEs, but that would be true of anything, whether it be knights or I don't know, great swords, whatever. Any non-single entities would suffer. I was a little bit disappointed with the 2 Empire captains. The problem is they spent the entire, 8-9 minute battle chasing around and trying to kill off the Skullcracker, which racked up the second most kills of the entire enemy line, including their lords and casters, and they were barely able to scratch it. You'd think that they would be useful specifically for targeting single entities like this, but they really weren't. They really weren't useful for that at all, and it had to be the Zoats and the Knights coming in and whacking away at that Skullcracker for a little while before it went down. These guys did basically nothing whatsoever to it, which just, I mean, I've never liked the Empire Captains in the first place. Sure, you can use them in multiplayer and they're useful, but that's the usefulness of any essentially flying, fast-moving single entity sort of thing. If you want to harass an enemy backline, prevent it from firing, yeah, but what exactly are we using them for here is something I'm not entirely sure of. I mean, this one barely outperformed a warrior priest, or one of the warrior priests, and the warrior priests are there to mostly buff and stuff, and yeah. But anyway, happy with the Flagellants, not so happy with the Empire Captains. 309 kills, you guys, I'm gonna name you for that one. You are the first of the Flagellants that is not the Regiment of Renown. Well done to you. Kind little bit of damage on Boris. Now, 536 schematics. I'm tempted to loot and occupy, but we're pretty good in terms of money. Let's occupy, and let's hope that there isn't an army nearby that is like a really strong full stack. Yeah, so we can move to Black Fortress, but we can't see if there's anything in it, can we? And I'm still not entirely sure. Well, if there is, this army is in trouble. Are you immortal yet? No, you're one level short of immortal as well. Uh-oh. But hey, you gotta take risks. Anyway, Assured Assailant, sure. Dowager Doom, Imperial Pegasus, not sure it's gonna help you all that much, but that's fine. Downstone. Another thing that this army has an issue with is it lacks armor piercing. Basically no armor piercing on the Knights of the Everlasting Light or the Flagellants. The Zotes are the only source of it, which is why they racked up a higher kill count and damage count than most of the rest of the army. And we might want to solve that problem, or that thing with the Luminarch, we just add a Luminarch. Almost tempted to replace one of the Empire captains with a Luminarch. But we'll see. I'm gonna keep leveling them up a little bit, and maybe they will be eventually strong enough to at least damage a Skullcracker, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, what else do we have to do this turn? You, sir. Oh, right, you guys are sitting there. I remember that. Carl, you are finally ready to sail out, unless we can get another Karlberg Greatsword, which I don't believe we can. State troops, alright. 5 turns, alright. By the time 5 turns is up, you should have arrived in a new place. Jamathius, you are still moving up here.
I shall calculate the course.
To try to join the Fire Army. Right? Was it the Fire Army that I was gonna have you join, or was it, well, no, Line Admiral Zinthar has 2, and Jays, you have 1, yeah, it was the Fire Army. It was the Fire Army. And we need it. A little bit of extra damage. Anyway, Carl, I guess you're going this way as well. Let's say not in the attrition-y territory, though. Do we need to help out here, though? Or can we freely... You know what, maybe we move southward instead. Yeah, you're Prince and Emperor. Everybody knows. You've said it so many times. Just have to keep reminding everybody, yeah, you're probably going to hit the Cult of Pleasure instead. And do we have anybody else? Well, we do have admin and money. That we do. What we don't have is time, unfortunately, so... Ooh, hello. Spirits of Shanlin and Khemri are both willing to trade. Khemri, you're still... You're probably gonna... Yeah, 1,000 gold per turn. That's not too bad. Alright, I'm game. If you are, let's trade. As long as you don't fight the dwarfs. And we'll see about that.
Ready?
But we'll still be on their side if you do. Thorek doesn't like us so much for being allied with the Tomb Kings. Well, not allied per se, but trading with them. Avalorn wants a military alliance? Yeah, sure, why not? Give us money for it. And Legion of the Gore Queen, Blessed Dread, and Goldtooth all want peace, but I don't think that's going to happen. Goldtooth suddenly afraid that he's not just facing off against the Golden Order, but the Amethyst Order now as well. Ooh, Imperial Palace, basically complete. That'll be +2 control faction-wide. Nice. Let's see. Well, let's do the priority buildings first, and then non-priority buildings second. We should still probably go through the building. I would like to end the turn if possible, though there's a decent likelihood that we'll get attacked, in which case we'd have to complete the end turn next time. Engineers, whatever. Marienburg, you have the paved roads missing, and I was gonna give you defenses, but honestly, it's not as needed as it once was. Gunsmith for you as well. Yes to clothiers, always, all the time. And we can hold off on you, because you're a tier 2. You're nearly maxed out. Okay, you're going to tier 5, so we'll hold off on you. Spend the money where it needs to be spent, followed by where it could be spent. Wizards Campus next. 3 turns, that's... Well, that one didn't really matter. Miragliano, yes to tier 5. And that means we no longer need the landed estate here or here. And, I mean, I guess we can still upgrade the Wizards Campus just because, but anyway. Let's see. We need defenses upgraded in Eckendorf. It'll never be cheaper, but we can also upgrade it another turn. Also, we can just keep checking our money. Shambletown. I don't know whether we're keeping you, but you are collecting a surprisingly decent amount of cash due to the bonuses. Plus 72%. What is giving you this? We've got boost. Oh, we got boost income from. Oh, they've got 3 mages here. Fair enough. I mean, it was one of Gelt's armies, but I wasn't expecting that.
What does the Emperor
Huh.
bid?
3 mages gives you a plus 72%. Their upkeep. Oh, alt dwarf. You're currently making 4.7k. I wonder if an extra mage. Wait, do we have a battle wizard with noble on him? That killed our capacity for them. Yeah, we do have a noble one. Income from all buildings. I'm inclined to say perhaps it might be worth getting a few of them like that. Alright, we'll just need to increase our capacity of them, which we will do once I stop being distracted. And we are building a bunch of wizard colleges anyway, so it's only a matter of time. Just hopefully that noble is not gone by then. I'm not gonna bother upgrading you. Broken Lands of Tianli, you're being upgraded right now. Northern Grey Mountains, yes to Clothier. Ivory Road, yeah, build a gold mine. And you know what? If it dies, then no. And just in case it dies, let's not. Brass Keep, you are fine as you are. It'll be a while before you go to the next level. Clothier upgraded here, please. Griffinwood we can continue to ignore, as we have been doing. And Forest of Gloom as well. Oh. But both the Forest of Gloom, fine. They'll increase our wizard capacity, and I just said we want more wizards. Sentinels don't collect the income here. Most likely we'll be trading it away, and Black Fortress. If there's no stack there, we could push all the way there with Boris's army, at least potentially. Though any additional fights in the field would be concerning to us just due to those darn dreadquakes. The rest of this looks fine. Fort Bray we don't care about, and Uskalak we will be trading away to our dwarfen allies shortly, which leaves us with 38k. Alrighty, that means there will probably be more buildings to build, but I think I'll build them between the episodes and call this episode then here. We should also select a... Select an upgrade. I don't remember what we were doing next. There's Wolfheart to consider. Imperial Architects give us construction time and income from capital settlement buildings, 10%. What is our income from those, generally speaking? How much money would that give us? Altdorf makes 3... Okay, Altdorf is a special territory, though. So's Drakenhof. Okay, this is a regular city. 120. Okay, so 10% really isn't much. An extra 12 gold is not really worth considering. 8 gold. Yeah, it'll basically give us a couple of 100 extra gold per turn, most likely, even considering our entire empire. Just not much. Construction time isn't horrible, but the rest is kind of meh. Income from ports might actually be worth more, because ports, especially special ports, can make quite a bit of money. On the other hand, we don't have nearly as many ports, so there's that. What about mage capacity? Witch hunters, engineers, warrior priests, battle wizard capacity. It's only +1. No, nonetheless. Nonetheless, it may be +1, but it's still probably worth our time. I wanted to get combustion agent as well, but ooh, firing... Nah, you know what, let's upgrade our artillery. Reload time and missile explosion radius and range. We're using artillery quite a lot, so it's quite a lot of value out of that upgrade. Anyway, I'm going to call the episode here. Next time we will end the turn, presumably. Next episode we'll be able to fight Tamarkan and Decasor, at least I hope so, with this army. We've got a lot to do in the Darklands still, and we'll be moving more armies over there. Goldtooth versus Gelt may happen. The Goldtooth versus the Gold Mask, and Catha is still a shambles. So, lots more fun stuff to fight, and don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially to Threshold. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.